What's interesting is that, and this is an important recording tip, the drier your mouth is, the more like wet mouth sounds it makes into the mic.
Gross.
Yeah. So always drink
I always have my
lots of
water bottle with me when I'm recording.
Drink lots of water, and if you can, swish water right before a take, because it'll clean up your sound quite a bit. Yeah, and maybe I should just open every episode with helpful recording tips for new artists. Just
it's one way to get them out there.
something that that nobody asked for, but that everyone can benefit from. Welcome to the Breakfreeced Club, everybody. This is the Breakfreeced Club. Well, obviously, otherwise why would I be welcoming you to it? Welcome to the Breakfreeced Club, everybody. This is Denny's. This is a Denny's restaurant in rural Illinois.
Hi, welcome to Chili's. This is the Breakfast Club.
Welcome to Chili's. This is the Breakfast Club, recorded live at Denny's. This is a runaway train, is what this is. I'm joined by ColaKong.
That's me. I'm here, live and in person.
Live and in person. Full size?
Enlarged to show detail.
Enlarged to show detail. That's what I should tell people when they're like, "Wow, you're tall." Like, no, I'm enlarged to show detail.
My answer is always just no, you're short.
I have one of the would you, I forget if it's a would you rather or a will you press the button question later is like height related, so that'll be interesting to explore. Now we've foreshadowed. Now we're setting up story elements.
Sneak peek.
For people who don't know who you are, why don't you introduce yourself?
I am ColaKong. You can call me Cola. I'm incredibly new. My phone is ringing. That's professional.
Insert
I'm incredibly
on mic. This
new.
is part of the show now.
To the just pick up in the middle of the show.
Oh, it's terminal.
That's horrible.
I always think that's what's sometimes that happens on talk shows or comedy sets or something. Like somebody's phone rings and they're like, "Oh, answer it," or the comedian or the host will grab it and answer it. And I'm like, "Oh,
that's almost never a good idea."
One of these days, I interrupted your introduction.
But yes, to answer your question, my phone interrupted me. It's fine.
That's true.
I am very, very new to the nerdcore scene. 6 months ago, I didn't know who any of these people were new, but I decided to start making nerdcore music, and it's been incredibly fun, and I've picked up some great friends along the way, and just made stuff that I'm proud of despite my noobishness, and that's who I am. I make nerdcore music. I'm also a game designer. I have a few really old I'm not a game designer as in I've designed actual games yet. I'm going to college for it. But I have a few game design related video essays on my channel if I haven't privated all of them already.
I don't think I've seen one. Maybe I need to scroll.
I think all of them were recorded with my bad mic before I started using this one.
I like a good video essay. What was your bad mic? I'm very interested in microphone progression.
It was the internal microphone in my MacBook.
Okay, that's almost as bad as the worst mic that I've used.
Okay.
Because a MacBook will have a better microphone than a PC laptop almost every time.
But I've talked about this with a few people. If I ever launch a second channel, one of the things I absolutely will do on there is start making those video essays again, because I have not lost my passion for game design.
Well, that's dope. I don't know if I remembered that that you.
I don't think I've ever really mentioned it to you.
Yeah, or which is interesting because a lot. No, sometimes when I talk to somebody on the Breakfreeced Club, it's the first long conversation I've had with them. That's not the case. We've talked.
We've chatted twice.
Yeah, which is more conversations than I have with a lot of even people that I'm good friends with. I think it's just so hard to get time to actually VC somebody, which is why I love doing this show.
Yeah, man. I am sitting. Me and Jix made that new server. I have been sitting in an empty voice chat, just hoping people drop in randomly for like 3 days straight. And they have at times. I've talked to a good number of people.
I'll have to drop in.
Yeah,
often.
anytime you're looking for somebody to talk to, just see if I'm online because chances are I'll be there.
Well, also you gotta help me get my Smash skills up high enough if I'm.
Oh, I would love to.
If I'm gonna defeat
I
the final
played
boss. So I
Xiao
assume
Do
it's
earlier
Xiao
today.
Do. You what?
Yeah, I played him today.
How'd you
on
do?
Stream. I lost the set 2-1, but all the games were close, and he called me sick, so I lost the set, but I won his respect, I guess.
Okay, that's like a very good first season arc, I think.
Yeah, this was the training arc.
This is the training arc.
So I'm not as good as Xiao Do yet, but I can get you close.
Okay, good. I still need to unlock my main. So.
Oh, that's right.
Because I had like started playing and then I broke my wrist and it's very hard to play Smash
I can imagine.
on a Switch Lite with a broken wrist. So I only started playing again recently. And then I've just been like so busy with my channel that I've barely played that.
That was the first time we ever really hung out.
Yeah.
Because when I don't know people, that's a good like excuse to hang out type thing. Is like, I want to have a conversation with you, but I'm too nervous to say that. So I'm just like, hey, let's play video games together. And also, do you want a VC maybe?
Well, so yeah, that's one of the things that I've like, that I didn't really think about. And then I came to appreciate a lot when I finally started online gaming, which is honestly just like this year that I started doing it a lot. It's been mostly like with Among Us and Overwatch. And a little bit with Valorant. But like, like, and I know Schwabity said the same thing. He said like, that he'll like collab with somebody and then like still not really like be friends with them exactly, or like really know how to talk to them, or but he like develops friendships by playing games with people.
It's just a good excuse to talk to people more.
Yeah.
And when we were playing Smash, nothing we talked about was Smash related. We were just talking about our beginnings in music because I was so new at the time.
Yeah, we kind of did a Breakfreeced Club episode just like while we were while you were beating the crap out of me in Smash. That's the other thing. I have very bad lag. So I'm very bad at Smash, but I'm even worse at Smash than I think I should be when I play online.
You have to it's called a Wi-Fi warrior. You have to adapt to the lag and use it to your advantage.
Yeah, once I see the Matrix for what it is, I'll be able to unlock that.
And as a Sonic main,
the
Wi-Fi, the Wi-Fi is definitely in your favor because Sonic is a very Wi-Fi, a character that it's easy to abuse lag spikes with.
Yeah. Well,
let's talk about Smash this entire time.
Yeah, this is the Smash episode. We'll be playing the outro song will be All Star by Smash Mouth. That's kind of, and then all the cuts will be, it's not even video, but they'll somehow still be Smash cuts. And then
you got 2 Smash puns right off the top.
Yeah, I'm like the Smashing Pumpkin. That's kind of the bar. You know the Smashing Pumpkins?
You can make that into something.
That's a band, the Smashing
somehow.
Pumpkins. That was a joke specifically for people who are fans of the lyric, despite all my rage, I'm still just a rat in a cage. Which I think is a Smashing Pumpkins lyric. If it's not, I don't know what I'm talking about. I picked up Minecraft this week.
Oh, really? I never really got that into Minecraft, and I want to because it seems super fun, but also I don't want to because it seems like a rabbit hole.
I've never played it in my life. I've never even like, not even on somebody else's account, not even like for a second. I've never like been behind the controls of a Minecraft game on any platform. I
had a neighbor back when Minecraft was like new.
2009. 2000.
Yeah, I was but a young lad. And I would go over to his house and play Minecraft. And we only played on creative mode because that's the only stuff I knew. But that was my experience with Minecraft. Was playing on creative mode in my neighbor's house like way back in the day.
That was my early gaming experience in total, was just playing at like my friends' houses.
That's how it starts.
But like, because I didn't get a console until I was like, I don't know, like in maybe early high school.
Oh, dang.
And then it was a Wii, and then it was like a battle to get any games that weren't like active, because that was like the loophole. It was like, well, the Wii is active, so it's like it's gaming, but it's also like fitness, So like,
oh, I see.
So like Mario Kart didn't really qualify.
Didn't fly.
No, but I could borrow my friends' games, and so that was like a gray area. So it's all loopholes. Oh, so some of my favorite games, or like favorite gaming memories, are like those games that I played at my friends' houses. So like one of my favorite things in this past year, gaming related, is I found a copy of Disney's Extreme Skate Adventure, I think is what it's called.
I don't know the title, but I definitely know what game you're talking about.
Yeah, so it's just Disney Tony Hawk Pro Skater essentially, and it's got the soundtrack has like maybe 12 songs on it max. One of them is "Sell Out" by Real Big Fish, which was my introduction into the ska genre, which became a great love of mine later once I figured out what ska was. And I found a copy for GameCube, and then me and my best friend Caffeine played it. It was just like a blast from the past, because I used to play that in middle school, early high school at my friend's house.
I was a Wii and DS era baby, meaning when I was like growing up, that's what was new. No, yeah, that is true. I was about to correct myself, just saying no, I didn't have new consoles, but that's new, and that's kind of why I've been a Nintendo kid all my life. I've never owned an Xbox or PlayStation or non-Nintendo console, and obviously I've played games. Like, I played the entirety of Persona 5. It's one of my favorite games. But Nintendo will always be my first love when it comes to gaming. I don't have anything to follow that up with. That's just a fact.
I like Nintendo for their controllers. If I'm being honest, like that is the number one thing that I like about Nintendo. I've just always liked their controllers. Except for the N64 controller. The N64 controller can go get fucked.
I saw you physically hesitate before you cursed for the first time in the episode.
It's actually the third week now of cursing on the show.
Oh, was it not allowed before then?
No, it was always allowed. I just didn't. Like, I just didn't do it.
Oh, you didn't do it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not for any particular reason. I just didn't. I think I had this sort of code switch, because all my old podcasts were always rated E for everyone or whatever, non-explicit. So we always had to make sure not to say anything that we'd have to censor or whatever. But of course, with the guests that I have on, I mean, the first guest I ever had on the show was Olaf, based Olaf.
Oh, that's right.
So, and he swears every third word. There is absolutely no censoring Olaf. So after that, I was like, well, this is just an explicit show. But then it wasn't until the Christmas special with Caffeine that I was like, yeah, I'm gonna say the F word.
Oh, really? It was that recent?
Yeah, that recent. It was literally a week ago. I also started getting a little bit more audacious in my songs, I think. I still censor an F-bomb if I put it in a song, but I had one in the Bossing Say rap that I think I think people forget about it. It was censored, but it was in there.
That's honestly not one that I listen to as much as I should. I have quite a few Freest songs on the playlist, but it's a big playlist now, so anything on that playlist only comes around once every so often.
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy to be on any playlist. I remember the first time that I was watching one of Daniel's streams, and...
wow, first name basis.
Well, yeah.
Nice soft flex.
It's all right. It's not a... So I know multiple Daniels,
no,
but...
I'm just joking with you. It's all good, dude.
I guess I did say Schwabity earlier instead of Mark, and then I said Daniel, so yeah. To be fair, I was just... the last episode that I also recorded the same week was with Rustage, so I'm very much in that in that mode. I don't have to explain myself to you. No, but the
I remember, if I may do a quick little
tangent
interjection.
Yeah.
The first time we hung out, you were referring to Schwabity as Mark a lot.
Was I?
And yeah, you were. Just because you're friends.
Right.
It's not anything you noticed because you're friends. But I knew who Mark was, but I kind of didn't want to call him that because I had seen something he had said. I think it might have been on Twitch, where he was like, all these people come into my DMs calling me by my first name. Like, I've never heard of you. And I was like, I don't want to call him Mark. I know he's not listening, but he obviously doesn't like it, and we're not close to each other. So I just had to really focus to not adapt your speech patterns during that conversation.
That's funny. Like, I don't know. For me, also, I've noticed that the phrase "for me" is something that I say quite a bit, and I'm not sure if that means anything. It's just that's just how I guess how I introduce how things relate to me. It's always "for me." No, but like, I wouldn't want people to go out of their way to like, not because like it's weird. I've talked about it before. It's like it's weird if people call me by my real name, but I don't really go through any effort to like hide my name or anything. Like people know it or they can find it out easily.
I do. I'm not telling my real name to anybody on the internet anytime soon.
Yeah, I mean,
I think for privacy reasons, it's a good idea.
Sure. It's like, and also like, I don't know, like, I feel like, especially the younger you are, it's like makes more sense, you know?
Yeah.
Of course, with Rustage, like, he just used his last name as his artist name, so like, it's just been.
So there's no getting around that one.
Yeah, for a long time. But like, if people are, I don't know, like if people are talking about me and I don't know about the conversation, like I can't see any way that I would care. If somebody then was like, hey, and then like use my real name, which I even hesitate to say now, even though people know it and I've said it on the show before, it just feels weird coming out of my mouth in this context.
Yeah.
But like,
because it's like a double life thing.
Yeah, kind of.
It is for me.
Yeah.
There's definitely the people who know me by my name and the people who know me by Cola.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with those people never meeting each other for the most part.
I had a weird moment and like I'm sure you'll have this moment eventually. But I had this moment where I realized that the number of people who know me as Freest is and like think of me as Freest is greater than the number of people who know me and think of me by my real name.
I wonder if I'm already there. Probably not.
I guess it depends on how many people you know in real life or like have met.
You can probably guess by the fact that I'm rapping about nerdcore. I've never been an incredibly social person. I didn't go out of my way to make friends. I always just kind of let it happen. And those were some of the closest people I've ever known.
Yeah. I mean, I don't...
But I'm not a social person.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, like, a lot of us aren't, but a lot of us are as well. It's interesting seeing how, like, the nerdcore tropes have sort of changed over the years. Like, it definitely used to be the thing where it's like, if you're a nerdcore rapper, like... Yeah, you had like no social life, and that was almost like a prerequisite, like a badge of honor. You know, if you listen to like the old, like Beefy and former Fat Kids and like who was I trying to think of? Doesn't matter. A lot of the people from back in that time, you get like that image is like a very strong image in the early 2000s. And now it's kind of like, I don't know, you've got like very cool people, in the nerdcore scene. I mean, look at None Like Joshua. He's just like super cool.
He's just a chill dude.
He's just cooler than any nerd should be allowed to be.
That's the
how
thing,
it is now.
though, is because like with anime and video games and rapping about nerd crap, obviously there's the stereotype of, oh, this person has no friends. But to rap about that takes a certain charisma and, like, to a point, self-confidence that not a lot of weebs really have most of the time.
Yeah.
So it's a very narrow field of people who feel comfortable doing this, I feel.
Yeah, well, it's kind of like seeing where those two things intersect, and then also the difference between like who you are day to day, who you are naturally, and then your
persona.
And your persona, right? Like a good example, not in nerdcore, but in like entertainment in general, would be Colin Mockery from Whose Line Is It Anyway? So for people who don't know Whose Line, it's a long running improv comedy show where the basically four comedians make up scenes off the top of their head. They act stuff out. They do comedy.
It's a great improv show.
It's kind of like the gold standard of improv comedy in the U.S. As far as like in the public eye. And Colin Mockery is like, one of the longstanding performers on that show, and he was on it back when it was in the UK as well. And he's like, on the show, he's hilarious. He's like outgoing. He's, obviously performing and very charismatic.
Really funny dude.
He's incredibly introverted and like very soft spoken.
Never would have guessed.
In his day to day. He's definitely not one of those like, class clowns, sort of like, like laugh at a big, like life of the party type people. And I'd say that's like pretty similar to how a lot of performers are. Like Freddie Mercury, another great example. Like probably the most charismatic person to ever live. If I had to just point to one person and say like, that's the most charismatic person.
That one.
Yeah. Like I would put Freddie Mercury above like Mick Jagger in his prime as far as charisma. And, but in real life, like in day to day, just shy.
In real life.
I know, it's weird to say that.
Out of the simulation.
Yeah. In real life. So, here's a question, since I feel like I have an obligation to do some small token of like, pretending to interview people on the show.
Okay.
So before you did, nerdcore, had you done other kinds of music, or was this your like first foray into music at all?
Okay, so short answer, no, I hadn't. Long answer, I have been in a very musical family all my life. My father is a musician, a guitarist, and to a degree a singer. And he loves music, and he has the absurd talent to point at any guitar he's ever seen and tell you exactly what kind of guitar it is. And he will anytime he sees a guitar. But yes, I have lived in a very musical and music-oriented family. So music has always been a part of my life, and I've listened to music and different kinds of music since before I can remember. Rap came about really relatively recently for me. I think because I had always listened to rap and like Snoop Dogg and not Gangster's Paradise, what's it called? Rapper's Delight. Stuff like that in my day-to-day life as part of being exposed to music.
So like old stuff, in other words.
Yeah, old school stuff. It's the only rap my parents really listened to because my father just didn't listen to that kind of rap. I forget how I came about it, though. But there was this one video, and I was at least in middle school by this point, because it was called Gang Gang Kawaii.
Okay.
By a rapper named Demon Dice.
Oh, Demon Dice. Yeah, okay.
Demon Dice, yeah, she's rad.
Yeah, I know Demon Dice.
But it was her rapping about anime girls and also gangster like rap.
Yeah.
And it was just very silly, and I didn't realize it at first, but it was like a very obviously a joke rap. That she had this one line in there that I always remember because like the first time I heard it, I had to pause the song and my mind was blown. It was like a size eye yo pies wide eyes rockin' a snap back blunt to pak daki makara. And I was like, that rhyme is so good.
Yeah. I know that feeling.
But Demon Dice is just a brilliant artist, and I listened to more of her stuff on her YouTube channel immediately after that. And she really was the one who got me into rap. And it's weird that it was an anime-related song that opened that gate for me because I didn't know nerdcore existed until years later.
Yeah.
But I listened to Dan Bull and JT Machinima a lot in like my first year of high school and late in middle school. I remember Dan Bull's, I think it was his first Overwatch rap. It was the one that was All the Heroes. I listened to that like walking home from school on repeat just because it was so good and there was so much content in there to listen to.
Dan Bull is a
genius.
masterclass in wordcraft.
Absolutely.
And I think that like that is also, and by now I would say like that's what Connor Quest is and like has become.
Yes, Connor is one of the best writers around.
Yeah, I'm upset at how good Connor's delivery can be, like his articulation.
He's not allowed to be good at everything.
I know, and he's a good producer. And he's nice.
He can sing.
If he were at least like rude or abrasive or something, anything that I could hold against him. But I can't. He even looks good in orange. What the hell?
Nobody looks good in orange.
No, certainly not me.
Yeah, there's some people
did you grow
who are
up playing
just
any
good at
instruments
everything.
or anything like that?
No, I gotta tell you, as part of a musical family, my experience with making music was incredibly recent. I didn't play any instruments except for when they made us play the recorder in fifth grade.
You got it.
And I knew like hot
Legally.
cross buns, and that's it. That's not true. I played the piano. My father's mother was a piano, like, she played for a church. She played the organ, I think, but she definitely knew how to play the piano and sing. So I took piano lessons from her. We had a piano in our house for the longest time. And I remember I hated piano lessons because they were just the most boring thing. Because I was obviously doing, like, these classical pieces.
Yeah.
And I didn't like that. I didn't like just memorizing and regurgitating how to play piano. But I remember I would, like, go downstairs when, like, it wasn't piano practice time and just pick out songs that I knew and liked already. Like, I wasn't playing them beautifully, but I was note by note, like, ba 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 ba, just like playing songs like I knew and enjoyed.
Like a hip, like jiving song for you was "Mary Had a Little Lamb."
No, that was just the first thing that came to mind when I was trying to explain how I played piano, just with my one pointer finger pressing down note by note.
Here's a thing that I have to say to like any parent or parent to be, like, just let your kid listen to like real songs when they're small, because so that when they are like older and they're trying to think of any song that comes to mind, instead of Mary Had a Little Lamb, it's like something dope, like Enter Sandman or like anything.
Yeah, no, I just start note by note playing Through the Fire and the Flames.
Yeah. But that's the thing. It's like we listen to like children's songs as children, and then it's like you never listen to those when you're older, so why do you listen to them when you're younger? Listen
Because
to
they're
good
easy
music.
to remember and digest and recite.
But so
you
is
can
like
sing Wheels
Post
on
Malone.
the Bus. I mean, yeah.
Post Malone
it's
is
equally
better.
simplistic.
Post Malone is
It just
way
sounds
than
better
Mary Had
to
a
your
Little Lamb.
ears.
Play Sunflower for your kid. That's a great song.
That's a great
Just
song.
play the whole Spider-Verse soundtrack. That should be.
Dude.
If I ever had a kid, which I probably wouldn't, but if I did, I would. Aside from like all of these like young, nerdcore scene people that I seem to be adopting,
Yes.
if I ever have a baby,
Explosion has
child,
decided that you and I are his children.
I
mean
love it.
that you, me, and him are your children. I'm an idiot.
Oh, did you say it backwards? I get that.
I said something backwards. Sorry.
Mixed up all the time. Yeah, I'm not great with reflexive phrases.
I'm bad at saying words.
You'd think I'd be better at it.
Given our profession, your profession, I'm working part-time at work making stuff.
Yeah.
I think I told you about this one time. I know I've told a few people, like Jix. I might have told you about this. I had written one song before Population Growing, and it was literally like earlier that month. I found a beat that Youngtown made, who's another rapper that I listened to a lot, with like Dan Bull and JT Machinima. Nate Wants to Battle, who's not a rapper but a musician.
Right.
Youngtown was a big rapper who influenced my taste. I found a beat he made for free, and I wrote this song, and it was like a really cheesy yet heartfelt song about like my depression. And it was about like, I have depression and mental health is hard for me, but then it was only a few bars long, but then the ending of the song, the last 4 or 8 bars were like, but thank you to my friends and my family and my people who have helped me through this. I don't remember. I think I said something like, you helped a no one from God knows where feel at home. Was something like the final bar. And that was the only song I called it Reaching Out, and I never recorded it or posted it anywhere. I just wrote it and had the beat.
There's something really poetic about that. A song called Reaching Out that you kept to yourself.
I guess so, yeah. There's something there.
Yeah, there definitely is.
Maybe someday, if I ever make like a Patreon, I'll share those bars with somebody. But
every time I make something that I'm like, I can't use this, that's what I tell myself. I'm just like, save it for the Patreon.
I wonder if I still have them. I'll have to look after this recording session is over to see if I even still have those bars laying around. I know I have the beat, but that's just because it's not a beat I made. But yeah, that was the only song I wrote before Population Growing, which I wrote Population Growing almost only so I could put it on Schwab Analysis.
I was going to say, yeah.
I wrote it because I wanted somebody's opinion on it. Not for the attention I would garner from it, but because I wanted a rapper's opinion on it. And Schwab Analysis was something I knew existed specifically for that.
Yeah.
And I, in the process, discovered a huge love for writing music. And it's some of the most fun I've had in my life these past 6 months.
Yeah.
But I wrote it and I recorded it and I made the AMV in a few days. I want to say it was a week and a half at most, which is longer than I had spent on any one project in a long time at the time. And I emailed it to him, and then the episode that song was in, the thumbnail was like Schwabity looking very distraught with like just a horrified look on his face, and the title was something like, "You guys sent me some garbage." And I was like, no, oh no, am I the garbage? And then he ended up liking my song, which, looking back on it now, is a huge surprise to me because I hate that song.
I think that he saw like a very similar thing that I saw in like that song and some of your other stuff. Was like, there's like we can both see potential because like we've both A, like been there and B, like combed through a whole lot of tracks that have been sent to us. I'm sure Mark like way more than me, but like just people sending us tracks being like, hey, check this out. Hey, do you want to be on something? Hey, check. So like we get a lot of.
I get that. So I can't imagine how much you guys must get.
It's a lot. Less since I turned off my my open DMs on Discord.
mine are still on because I don't know. I haven't had a good reason to turn them off yet. I pretty recently, put my foot down about like, all right, I'm only going to collaborate with people who I think are really good and like worth writing a whole verse for. But it's been so hard to turn people down.
Yeah.
Because the last thing I want to do is discourage somebody from making music. And I know my opinion is not important enough to anybody to like outright stop them from making music, but I don't want to be a straw along the way until another straw comes and breaks the camel's back.
Yeah. Well, so that's a piece of advice that I got secondhand from Schwabity, Mark. That's a piece of advice I got secondhand from Mark Schwabity, who got it from Coco,
which is his real name.
Coco on request. So as best I remember this third-hand advice that I got, basically it was just like don't be on a song unless like you're going to be proud of that song. unless it's like a song that you want to be on, and that you're gonna like want to have been on. And like that was definitely a really big thing for me because like when I started out like last year and even early this year, like I'd been rapping for a while. Like my skill level was already pretty good. It's definitely gotten a lot better since last year. But like, you know, I was already at a level with, you know, a lot of people who, you know, had bigger channels or like bigger audiences, but I didn't feel like I could reach out to those people or like be on good tracks because nobody knew who I was.
I definitely feel that.
I was kind of at this place where I was like, well, I guess like I'll just be on this you know, this project even though like I really don't want to, and it's like it's not going to be good, and like so I ended up, you know, recording for a couple things that I like that I wish I hadn't done because now like that's a thing that comes up if somebody I have this fear that like that's what's going to come up if somebody looks for my music and then they're gonna be like, oh, this is Freest. Never mind then.
That's the first search result.
So
my philosophy was just to pour 100% into every verse.
Yeah,
and then that's not at risk of happening, really.
Well, so I guess what I mean is not so much like that I'm afraid that I'm gonna have a bad verse. It's kind of two things because A, I don't think there's ever been a time when let's rephrase this. I think that I improve the most and always improve when I'm on a track where somebody on the track is better than me, which has been the case for you know, a few things that I've done. Most notably the Haikyuu cipher, and then recently the Konoha Sensei cipher. Like on both of those.
I didn't know you were on that until I literally like clicked on the video, and I was like, "Yo, Freest is here."
It was really really dope. I was really glad to be on it. But like in both of those cases, like I knew that I was gonna be on a track with like somebody who was way better than me. Like when I got the original demo for the Haikyuu cipher before I recorded my verse, I heard Dan Bull's voice. And I was like,
that must have been
one,
you must have been stoked, two terrified.
Yeah, both like instantaneously. So I was like, okay, I have to step my game way up, and I ended up writing some like really good stuff and pushing myself, you know, past where I'd been. And then the same thing happened with the Konoha Sensei cipher because I heard Connor's demo, and I was like, oh. like oh no,
oh crap, I hope you couldn't hear that. I really just knocked my trash can up against the wall.
And actually I don't even remember if I'd heard his demo yet, or if it was just like I knew it was a Connor Quest cipher and I knew like it's Connor Quest, like it's gonna be murderous. So and then, you know, I'm really glad that I like poured into that verse because like A, it got a really positive reception, and then B, like my verse ended up sandwiched between Connor Quest and Schwabity, so like my verse is right after Connor Quest on that cipher, which is like that's terrifying. Like it's like that Key and Peele sketch about the guy who has to speak after Martin Luther King. It's like he like finishes giving like the I have a dream speech and this other guy stands up and he's like like he's like, how do you follow that, you know? It's kind of how it feels.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just better to be on tracks with people who are better than you so that you are like forced to improve. And
fortunately I am surrounded, like virtually, not physically, but I'm surrounded by people who are better than me at rapping.
It's cool seeing like the new wave that's coming in, because like it seems like there's a lot of I don't want to like put up a wall, but if I were to like categorize, like I would put you in like sort of the wave of like newer rappers coming up, like you and Jix and some others. You and Jix are like the main ones that I think of. I know there's like a lot of other people that are like on, you know, the ciphers coming up and stuff, but it's like only a certain number of people are my real life actual sons, so it's like easier to keep track of.
Yeah. You don't have to name drop anybody on the show, but I would like put me and Jix behind people like you, Politicus, Ham Sandwich, obviously Breton, who had an explosive growth recently.
Yeah, well, so like it's not even like about channel size either, too, because like there's
but skill level.
Yes, skill level.
Then, I would say
mean, Ham Sandwich is way
us.
up there. Like I would put Ham Sandwich super high up there. I'd put him.
Dude's really good.
Yeah, and I think I'm getting. I think I'm getting to a tier where I am like starting to be a lot happier with where I am. But then, of course, with that comes like constant need to improve. Constant like every like tier that you reach in like your own skill level, it immediately forces you to like be confronted by another wall and go like, oh, like now there's this other level I didn't even see when I was lower.
Which I think is why it's a good thing that I can see songs that I used to be proud of and poke holes in them and like identify flaws and say, this is where I could have improved on this. Yeah. And this is why I don't like this song. I'm not as proud of this as I was when I uploaded it.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a bad feeling to have because it means you've improved.
I think that one of the hardest things to deal with in that sort of like journey of improvement is when you like you do something that you really like and you feel like, I've improved, I've gotten to the next level. And then you come out with something and you're like, I don't like this isn't as good as the one I did before. Like what did I do right? So there's always going to be like those occasional like setback projects.
Yeah.
But if you really dive into those, you'll find something in it that you did improve on. It's just like, okay, overall maybe this isn't as good of a song as my last one, but I did improve in something. Maybe it's the mixing, maybe it's the maybe you used like a flip or like wordplay here that was innovative in a way that you hadn't done before, or a new flow or something like that. But definitely like, being able to be self-critical in not a destructive way, but like a constructive way is such an important skill to have, because those are the people that you see constantly improving. I mean, just like over the course of a few months or a year or a couple years, going from being like just starting out to being really good at what they do. I mean, and you see that with like people learning to produce as well. People who practice all the time versus like people who kind of like don't ever bother to learn new things. Because that's the one thing I think that like has to be avoided at all costs is just like flatlining, just staying at the same level. Because there's nobody.
You can't let yourself be content with where you were.
Yeah, I mean, there's nobody among top tier artists who isn't constantly improving. Like as soon as you stop improving, like it's kind of like there's no point anymore. And I don't think there's ever a level anybody can reach where you can't still improve. Like I really think
nobody's ever gonna get perfect,
right?
Which is a good thing.
Like if you were to get perfect at something, you should retire from that thing and start doing something else, because you're done. But nobody's ever done. that's the caveat.
Exactly.
So I mean, it's just as important to like work with people that push you. It's important to push yourself. I guess if I were to circle back, I think it's interesting how you're talking about how like you grew up in a musical house but didn't do much that was musical. I grew up in like both my parents were kind of like they did like choir in school. I think my dad was in like the glee club in college, but like they don't play instruments really, and so I had. But they made sure that like we took music lessons, but it was all classical. So like I took like classical piano lessons as a kid, and I felt the same way that you did, where like I didn't like playing the rote stuff, like just like somebody's already done this, like I want to make something new. And so yeah, like I never practiced enough like what I was actually supposed to be working on. I always was just like trying to make up my own stuff or like improvise or whatever. And that's how I ended up writing my own stuff, is just like just going off book. And yeah, and then I started getting to where I was like, well, why do I just have to play the piano? So then I would just pick up other instruments and just like, teach myself how to play them to whatever degree would allow me to record a song with them. And so like that's how I just ended up with so many instruments over the years.
How many, like, how often do you use live instruments in your beats? Like, actually record yourself playing something?
It's not too often, because the process of like setting up to record an instrument, recording it in, and then like mixing that down into like usable audio and a good loop or whatever, like that's usually more trouble than it's worth. What I most often, if I record an instrument, what I most often record is bass, or I might do some. I've done some ukulele in some recent stuff. I think I did. I'm trying to remember if it was some of my like free stuff or like some random thing I worked on. My older music projects, before I was mostly doing rap, I used real instruments a lot. And my soccer rap, I played the bass and the harmonica in that.
Oh, that's right. You told me about the harmonica.
Yeah, so that is probably my. It's very high up there in my like list of favorite songs that I've done, especially from a production standpoint. The soccer rap is probably my favorite like altogether song that I've done, as far as like the lyrics, the like vocals, the mixing, the production, like everything about it. It just like it just gels.
It was. I think I've told you that was the song that I heard and was like, that's what I want to sound like. This is the style of music that I want to create. Was Nothing Bender. That was the first song I heard from you, and I was immediately just light bulb. I want to do this.
I like that, because like I've told you before, like in a lot of ways, your like style and your sort of like I don't know, almost like musical philosophy in certain ways, like reminds me a lot of like when I started making music and like the kind of stuff that I made, and then also just like even sort of like the way that I think about music now, and also like it's just always cool to hear that like something that I made was inspiring in that way.
Well, I imagine it must be.
And also it's just like a song that I'm very fond of. I think I've mentioned before that like I try to put when I write a song about like an anime character or like a TV show or whatever, and it's like it's a character song, I write it from the character's perspective, but I always try to put as much of myself in as I can, or it's like I don't even try, like that's just how it works. So like that was, I think, one of the songs that made me happiest to record. Like I felt most like myself in like a positive way, maybe than I like ever did in any other song. And I think that it's like, I think you can really just tell by listening to it. Like I was just like really stoked to be recording to that song. Like I really think that that comes across when like an artist is like really into something that they do.
Yeah, I think so. I think you can definitely hear the passion behind the project a lot of times.
Yeah. I mean, that's a thing with I mean, all kinds of vocal performance, but I think sometimes, especially in rap, you can't like go halfway with anything.
You can't fake that.
Yeah, like every second of the song that you're speaking, like the entire thing is riding on your inflection. Like you have to mean whatever you say, or people will know. It'll feel fake. It'll fall flat.
They won't believe it.
And it's interesting that's like something that some people have to develop, because I know I definitely did. Like
yeah,
like when I started rapping, I didn't know how how to make anything sound meaningful, or make it sound like I cared. even if I did, I just didn't know like how to translate that.
If you listen back to Population Growing, back then I always say I had a semblance of knowing how to write and no clue how to rap.
Yeah.
I remember, I think Schwabity actually said, like, I don't fuck with the guy's voice too much, but his writtens are good, so I'm not mad about it.
Yeah, that sounds like something to say.
I've listened to that video a lot because it was somebody who I admired, like, gassing up my stuff pretty much, and I was like, let me just get some more of this, please.
Was that the one where he said it was kind of a banger?
Yes, that was the exact, and that, yes, the greatest
that's your Twitter
compliment
bio.
I've ever received.
Yeah. It's so good to get, and especially like the Straub Analysis series for anybody that like got in on that and then like took like Schwabity's review and like advice from that and like worked with that and like applied it. I think is just like such a valuable thing. And then even for just anybody who watched it and like wanted to get an idea of like what to do, what not to do in music. I adore that series. It's one of my favorite things Schwabity's ever done. I can see why he got tired of it. And I think there's only a certain amount of things you can say before you're just saying the same thing every time.
A lot of people on there just couldn't be on beat though, and that's not you have to get that far before other criticism is applicable.
Yeah.
So it was hard for him to just say the same stuff over and over to a lot of people. Mm-hmm. I don't want to speak for him, but that's how I see it.
Well, yeah, I mean that's literally something that he said, is that it's hard to say the same thing again and again. Sometimes I think about doing like some kind of like music review series, but then I'm like, who am I? Maybe I'll wait until people know who I am before I start offering advice. Also, I feel like I have like very good advice on like writing, and like I have like fundamental advice on other topics. But we've really been going for a while. I guess we should get to some would you rather's and will you press the buttons, since we're,
because those are a serious staple at this point.
Yeah, and that's kind of what we generally do here.
Which is what we do in this house.
What yeah. What do you want to go with first?
Let's do the buttons first.
Okay. So these are like, I don't know, sometimes I have like themes to the questions that I find. This I think is the most like just random assortment that I've had in a while.
I'm down for that. Let's go.
So and these are like very mild questions, I think, this time around. There's not a lot of like existential dread going on here. Like there is some weeks. So here's the first one. You have an unlimited supply of French fries, but there's no ketchup. You press the button.
Now this posits some deeper questions, because you have to clarify.
Okay.
There's no ketchup ever?
Well, I guess there's no ketchup that you can't use them for your fries. That's what I would think.
Okay. In that case, sure, because there's other dipping sauce. Okay. That you can use.
Do you normally go for ketchup?
Sometimes it's the easy choice, but if they have something more interesting, like I'll use barbecue sauce sometimes.
Yeah.
There's this one restaurant that I don't want to name drop because I don't know if it's like only in my state or not.
Okay.
But they have like cheese that you can dip your stuff in.
Oh, okay.
And that's really good. But if these fries, if me accepting this supply of fries would delete the existence of ketchup from the universe.
Yeah, what about that?
Then no, I would not press that button. But you gotta clarify when you're writing these magic buttons.
What's your go-to like hot dog condiment?
I don't eat hot dogs nearly as much as I used to, but I think, well, like onions. But as far as sauce goes, ketchup pretty much.
Okay.
But I'll always put like onions and cheese and stuff on there too, because it's good.
Yeah, fair. I'm not really big on ketchup. Like I don't hate it, but if I use it, it's usually like in conjunction with another condiment, or because it's the only condiment available. So like I would be totally cool with ketchup just disappearing. I mean,
Really?
Now for my friends who like ketchup and require it, I would feel bad.
You don't want to do that to them?
But I feel like they could get used to it, and I would share the fries. So like, I'd be okay with it. Also, depending on the type of fries, like, are they curly fries? Because curly fries don't really.
That's another thing you have to clarify. That's my problem with these hypotheticals. You gotta clarify.
Well,
because some fries are way better than others.
To my mind, if you don't clarify, then that's up to interpretation. I mean, if they're curly fries, if they're like Arby's curly fries, or I forget if Rally's doesn't have curly fries, but they have like seasoned fries that are like curly fries, they're just not curly. But like seasoned fries, curly fries, because that way, like Arby's fries, I never use ketchup. I would never. I use horsey sauce. That's my go-to.
Ooh, fancy.
I just really like feeling like somebody shot a firearm out of my nose. I kind of go for mustard. Every line of right is full of spice that flows mustard.
That's true.
I go for mustard. Can I tell you something that may cause people to stop listening?
Oh God, please do.
May cause Americans to stop listening, because this is a thing that,
like, to this episode or to your music in general.
I don't know. We'll see. I would assume I'll retain a good portion of my European audience, because this is not as weird in some other parts of the world. But since I was quite a bit younger, I've actually preferred mayonnaise with my fries.
Okay.
Because I
don't know about on fries, because I feel like mayo is too overpowering.
Yeah,
on a
you
fry.
can't use
but if
too
you
much.
put that like on a burger, if you put that on a burger with a bunch of other tastes going on, I feel like a Food Wars character right now.
It heightens
then you
the
should
umami.
be fine. Exactly.
And at some point you have to use the word juicy. What
does that mean?
Well, it means juicy. They use it in
that's right.
every description.
I watched the dub of Food Wars, and I feel like a dirty fake fan for saying that.
No, it's totally fine to watch dubs.
I watch a lot of anime dubbed, and I always feel like I have to explain myself, or else I'll get attacked.
You really
by...
don't.
But no, but there are. You say that, but I've had like literal coworkers be like, "Nah, dude, you can't be an anime fan and watch dubs."
They're wrong. Okay, like they're just wrong. Like I don't prefer dubs.
It's fundamentally false.
I much prefer subs, but and a lot of people do. But like, watch it however you prefer to watch it.
Yes,
it doesn't make anyone a fake anime fan.
But
that kind of gatekeeping is like
it's
so toxic,
so stupid. Gatekeeping, dude. Why would you want less people in your fandom?
I don't know. I mean, I guess I'm glad that the people who are like that because that tells me that I don't want to talk to them
That's not a fandom
about
to go into.
anime or anything. Anything.
Yeah.
No. The reason that I use mayonnaise is because when I was younger, I read. It was like I read a magazine. It was like it wasn't a highlights. It was like some similar magazine. I don't know if they have those outside of the U.S. Highlights is a children's magazine that has like stories and games and stuff. It was it just had the story in it where like there was this transfer student from Germany. I think it was Germany, and the student like put mayonnaise on their fries, and that was like a weird thing. But then somebody tried it and they were like, "Oh, this is actually good." And I was like, "Oh, I guess I'll try that." And then I liked it, and then I've just always done that. And and I just don't prefer ketchup. Ketchup is like my least favorite condiment, probably. Again, I don't hate it.
That's a bold statement.
It's just such a boring condiment.
Yet it's your least favorite. There's a lot of condiments out there that have got to be worse than ketchup.
I mean, there might be some extreme ones, but I'd say I'm like a pretty adventurous when it comes to eating. So there's not a lot of stuff that I straight up don't like.
I will eat most food.
What's your top food?
Oh shoot!
This will prepare you if you ever go on the Connor Quest log. Connor Quest will ask you your favorite food, so you better have that. Better have that answer in your pocket.
I guarantee you, I won't be there anytime soon. But on the off chance I ever do get invited, I think my broad answer is Korean fried chicken.
Ooh. Okay.
And it's like a weird, like, weirdly specific, I feel, answer. But, dude, it's so good.
Yeah. I mean, I like Korean food in general. I've had a lot
Asian
of
food is, like, my favorite.
Yeah. I like Japanese food a lot. I like Korean food a lot. I like Thai food a lot. And I like Chinese food quite a bit.
It's all good stuff.
There's a lot of different Asian food that I like. Yeah, it's just, and you know what it is? It's like when I eat, like, especially Japanese food, I don't feel like eating American food kind of makes me feel like I want to die. But I feel like I can eat like any amount of Japanese food, and like I might be really full, but then like after an hour, I'm just like, that was so good. I'm hungry again. I feel light as a feather.
Let's do more of that. That, but again, please.
Yeah.
But no, you can't go to McDonald's and experience that more than once every, like, month.
Yeah, you'll like, there's no like American fast food place where you can go eat any significant quantity and not be in pain. Like, it just doesn't exist.
I worked in fast food for a while, and the minute I got a better job, I just stopped eating fast food. And my family has never been big on fast food. I have, like, a mother and a sister who cook and got me really into cooking. But so we never ate out and ate fast food that often, but I just stopped. I went cold turkey on it because that stuff destroyed me.
Cold turkey. They do have the cold turkey club at Arby's still.
I haven't been to Arby's in long enough to know what that means.
I just realized that a cold turkey club sounds like something you could join. I meant a club sandwich.
Oh. Yeah, that's what I was picturing, was like some special membership you could get where you would get like discounts or something.
Turkey specific discounts.
I don't know, man.
I wonder why they call it cold turkey. Does anybody know? Cold turkey.
When somebody says that, do you picture like a prepared turkey or like a bird?
I mean, I picture like a prepared turkey, like a leftover cold turkey.
Like a raw turkey.
Ah, interesting.
Like an uncooked,
like a dead
Thanksgiving turkey.
Just like kill the turkey.
Yeah, not like a dead with feathers on.
Okay.
But like a Thanksgiving turkey that you haven't put in the oven yet.
A pre-cooked butterball.
Something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, but why do they call it that? That's the question.
I don't know. That's not a question for me. That's a question for Google.
That's a question for me, honestly. I caught me slipping.
As an English major.
Here's another question.
Give it to me hot.
Okay, you're completely invisible. No, seriously, is your camera on? You're completely invisible. Just kidding.
Okay,
so
it's Sorry, you tripped me up for a second.
Here's what it is. You're completely invisible, but only while you're playing a trombone.
Okay.
You press a button.
Well, this is one of those bad ones that just like, yes, because I don't lose anything.
Yeah, that's kind of my thought. Now, what if this expanded to, like, you're completely invisible when rapping, since that's something that you do often?
That's different. That's something I have to think about.
So you're completely invisible, like the character from My Hero that's invisible. So it's like your clothes and stuff are not invisible.
I think the thing with her is she just doesn't wear clothes.
Yeah, but that's a choice.
Oh, so you're saying my clothes would be visible?
Yeah, because hers are visible.
Okay, cool. Then that's
it's a pretty cool gimmick.
Yeah, but what do you benefit from that really, other than like a party trick?
I mean,
you can't sneak around because you'd have to remove your clothes and also be loudly rapping.
Well, you don't have to be loudly rapping, but also you could just like walk through a crowded room and they'd be like, "Who's rapping?" I don't know. Nobody knows who's rapping.
And but the minute you stop rapping,
that's the other thing though. If you
you're
take a
fully
breath,
visible and nude.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So maybe it just highly depends on the context. Because maybe they'd be like, because also you wouldn't be rapping, so then they'd be like, who's this non-rapper? If they saw like a
who's this guy here all
if
the
they
sudden?
saw like a nude rapper, they'd be like, oh, sick. Probably.
I'm down with that.
That's my gimmick. I'm the nude rapper.
If there's an audience for it, man.
Yo, roll up in the spot, and I'm looking too dapper. And I'm closing his fit because I'm the nude rapper. New kids on the block. No, we already seen them. It's those nude kids on the block. Nude kids on the block.
You had something prepared.
Nude kids on the block. It's the Coliseum because they had like people fighting nude in the Coliseum. You know. It's also like
I was just gonna let you.
All right.
I was just gonna see how far you could go off the top.
Oh, I mean, I can go off the top for a bit. Maybe not when I'm trying to rhyme
I cannot
Coliseum.
for the life of me. See, when you said "seum," I thought you had something prepared, and that's why you chose that word.
No,
or those words.
No, I will leave myself like I will strand myself in a tree with freestyles, and then it's like, okay, if I can't think of a rhyme, like that's my fault. Next time I'll know a rhyme.
I guess so.
Yeah. I'm not like that, Harry Mack thinking 8 bars ahead. Like, I wish. Diggs is a freestyler. I gotta learn that skill.
Pick up some tip.
Yeah.
I imagine it comes in handy when you're just writing normal lyrics too.
Yeah, well, for me, I mean, like when, as much as I do freestyle, it comes in handy. When I'm just like thinking of bars, just like walking around and I'm like, oh, and I can like think of a rhyme quickly. Because there's a big difference between knowing a list of words that rhyme with each other, which is kind of like, that's kind of like beginner rapper stuff, is like knowing what words rhyme with each other. What eventually becomes like second nature is hearing a phrase and then just like subconsciously generating another phrase that rhymes with it, like without trying to think of one.
See, what I thought you were gonna say is coming up with a rhyme that means something.
That too. I mean,
what I see a lot of really young in terms of their musical ability and also in terms of their literal age, young rappers doing is rhyming a word, like saying a bar and then just saying nothing in particular for the next 3 bars as they rhyme, and it just doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
And that's something I always try to avoid doing, is just having bars that only exist to rhyme.
There's this Kabuto the Python song, and I don't remember the name of it, so I'll look it up and I'll send it to you. But it's the whole thing is just him basically roasting people who rap nonsense or like don't know how to rap in general.
There was a Demon Dice did that too. During the song was called Wannabe, but I don't remember the actual bars. Shoot, let me think.
Demon Dice is just one of those people that's incredibly talented in so many different ways.
She's great, man. She's also does like all the art and video for all of her songs.
That's what I'm saying.
Right? It's just
incredible.
When I found that out, it blew my mind. Like the Stupendium too.
Yeah.
I remember I watched, I feel like it was his Blathers from Animal Crossing song. Where I saw all of the art and all of the moving pieces in that video, and I was like, this must have cost a fortune to commission. But no, he drew that stuff.
Yeah. Oh, like, I don't think I would ever have the patience to do that stuff. I used to want to be an animator when I was younger. That was like a big aspiration of mine. I did like, like a stop motion and stuff like that. I love
animation still.
I love animation too, but more as like an admirer. Like every once in a while I get the bug and I'm like, I gotta animate something. And then I get like, a couple 100 frames in and I'm like, actually screw this.
See, I was an artist for a few years. I never really animated anything, and I used like Flipnote Studio on the DS.
Okay.
When I was a kid, and that was really the extent of it. but I always liked art, and I thought I was going to be an animator for a while, and then I realized that game design was a thing you could do as a job.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I care about this way more.
Yeah. It's cool to like figure out or like put the pieces together and see like what it is you're passionate about.
Yeah.
I feel like in a lot of ways I'm still figuring that out. Like there's just a lot of things that I'm interested in. There's also like there's obviously what I went to school for, and then there's like, you know, what I enjoy doing and what I'm good at, and it's like it's just like a lot of different pieces. And it's sometimes that just keeps shifting and you end up doing different things. Trombone, I don't know. I think I'd be okay with straight up completely invisible only while playing a trombone. No downside. I don't normally play the
I'd
trombone.
take it for the trombone because there's no downside there.
A lot of people are saying no downside. This person says you could become the trombone magician and make lots of money. ... This person says so you can wear a skeleton costume, and somebody else has replied saying yas with a ton of S's.
You can wear a skeleton costume,
but then one of the S's is
anyway.
a dollar sign. Just one.
But what do they mean you can wear a skeleton costume? You can wear a skeleton costume regardless of if you're playing the trombone invisible.
That's true. And I don't know if the skeleton costume would become invisible. That also depends. It's like, can people see the trombone? I don't know.
Oh, okay. I also found the Demon Dice lyrics I was thinking about.
Oh, go for it.
Because it was bugging me so much. It was, let's go down the list of every lyricist I hate. All these whiny dissin' pricks been trying to kick the record straight. Penning rhymes without a thought about the planet or its state. Caught up wasting precious time undermining the competition. ... Wait. Which I thought was really clever. Yeah, it was the first, like, kind of self-deprecating joke like that I had really heard. That I latched onto and was like, that's straight up funny. Like, and you made it rhyme and sound cool.
Yeah. On the French fries, question, somebody called Etrit has said in Germany they have French fry sauce, which is way better than ketchup. Which has one.
I feel like they have that at like lots of fast food places, and it's just a very slightly different recipe.
So Major Mom Happy has replied and said, and a word that describes how superior it is to ketchup, which I think is funny. That reply has one downvote. Which means that it got downvoted more than once because the default is one upvote, so you have to have two downvotes to get it to -1. It's like Reddit.
There's a German word that describes things being better than ketchup?
Well, that's the joke, because there's supposedly a German word for everything.
Okay.
So this is clearly a joke about that, but apparently Etrit and somebody else did not think it was that funny.
I'm half German and didn't get that joke, so...
I mean, I'm 0% German, but I'm part Austrian, if that helps. Okay, here's a musical question.
Fun.
Would you rather listen to only old Broadway musical songs or listen to only Christmas music?
Oh, both of those.
The tags for this one, by the way, are pain and suffering and music and art.
Yeah.
Which the juxtaposition there of like pain and suffering, music and art, could be like those are one and the same.
That's what people make art out of, is their pain.
Their pain and their suffering. Music is pain, art is suffering. So it's listen to only old Broadway musical songs. So let's say like, what's old Broadway?
My answer is that one.
Or only
I don't
Christmas
care what
music.
you say.
Yeah.
I hate Christmas music.
I feel that. Now, bear in mind, there's a lot of Christmas music that goes overlooked. I mean,
I feel like that's the hardest stance I've taken this episode, and I feel the need to explain myself again.
No, I mean, I'm with you, but go for
it. There's no Christmas music that's been written in the past 5 years. The only Christmas songs anybody plays are All I Want for Christmas and stuff that was written before I was born.
Yeah, it's pretty much All I Want for Christmas and then stuff from the 40s, it seems like.
Exactly. That's all that exists. And I'm like, either write new Christmas music,
I mean,
or stop playing the same old stuff over and over.
My personal favorite Christmas album, really the only one I listen to every year, is Christmas in the Doghouse by Snoop Dogg. So, I mean, do it that way you will.
I listen every year to that, and I say every year, it's been like 3 years since it came out, but that YouTube Singers Christmas collab by like Chi-Chi, Caleb Hiles,
Oh yeah,
CG5, a bunch of really talented people.
yeah. Have you heard the Toad sings "All I Want for Christmas Is You"?
I feel like I have.
Well,
I
I'm gonna
almost
send it to
definitely
you
have.
anyways, so that you can listen to it in its entirety later.
Okay.
Uh,
Live on the show.
sings Here we go. This is just something that makes it sparks joy, is what it does. It brings
Exactly.
me immeasurable happiness.
For some
so-
reason, when you said that, what came to my mind, like it just reminded me of this, it was like Bohemian Rhapsody, but made entirely out of the DK rap from Donkey Kong 64.
Okay, I don't think I've seen
Which is-
that,
Also brilliant.
so I'll be looking that up later. Here's a.
Oh, please do.
Let's see if there is any good comments here.
Yeah, let me listen to this live on the show real quick.
Okay, nobody else will be able to hear it.
That's fine.
So
I just want my reaction. Oh my gosh. Okay, so my first reaction, this is a really accurate Toad voice.
right.
Yeah,
Uh,
somebody did their research.
this singer, by the way, has a beautiful voice. Like actually.
Oh, really?
Yes.
That makes it even better. There's just a lot to take in here. Between the thumbnail
Yeah.
that I'm staring at because there's no video
It's
to
very
it.
powerful. It's
The
kind
fact
of like
that the year is labeled as 1994.
Yep. Is that really when it came out? All I Want for Christmas Is You.
Yeah, but it makes me think that that's when Toad sang it too. Which
Maybe
is
that is
even
when
funnier.
Toad sang it. I don't know. How long is you're the Nintendo guy? How long has Toad been around?
Oh god, Toad's been around since the first Mario. Okay, I have to pause it to think about this because I don't want to give inaccurate information. I think Toad's been around since Super Mario Bros., which is your princess is in another castle, but not since Mario Bros., which is Mario and Luigi in the pipes.
Ah. Okay.
I think his first appearance was in the Mario game, which is like da 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 da. That one with the
You just mean like-
where you can get the mushrooms and the stars and the jumping and the such.
Yeah. Mario Bros. Okay.
Super Mario Bros.
Yeah.
But not regular Mario Bros., which is a different game.
Right. Right. You're talking about the one
That's the
where
one with the crabs.
you can like warp zone in the first
Yeah.
level. Or second
That's
level?
the one with Bowser and the piranha plants. That was the first
Yeah, yeah.
edition, or the first introduction, rather, of a lot of Mario staples.
Yeah, that's the one that I've played the most.
I don't know if I've ever beaten that game. I probably have. at some point.
I'm very close to beating that game, and I keep getting stuck on the last level, and I need to keep trying.
Oh, on like Switch Online?
Yeah, yeah.
Nice.
I used to play it on like with like a joystick and buttons at the Children's
Yeah.
Museum of Indianapolis when I was a kid.
I went to a restaurant somewhere, not in my hometown, but somewhere, that had like a proper cabinet for it. And they didn't require quarters or nothing. They were just like, play Mario while you wait for your food.
Oh, dope.
And I was like, sick. I'm going to do that. And I just played a lot of Mario Bros.
I used to play a lot of
Or Super Mario
games
Bros., which is
at
a different
my
game.
Orthodontists. But the thing is, every
Okay,
time you
like
go
what?
there, it'd be back to the first level again, because it get
Oh, that
reset
sucks.
every night. So you had to
Do you
hope.
have a favorite classic game?
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, my easy answer is my favorite game of all time is Pong. So that's,
Solid.
that is my favorite game. As far as just like arcade cabinets in general, I really like Galaga. I'm not good at it, and it gives me carpal tunnel on top of what I already have.
Word.
I like Hubert. Again, not good at it. I like Frogger quite a bit. I really like the Dragon's Lair. Dragon's
Oh,
Lair
okay.
is dope.
My favorite arcade game would have to be Pac-Man.
Oh yeah, Pac-Man is
I
probably
think
my
specifically
top
like
game actually.
Miss Pac-Man is my favorite version of Pac-Man.
Well, you're in luck because those are more
But-
common.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's easier to get a Miss Pac-Man
Interesting.
machine. That's why a lot of arcades have them, and they don't have original Pac-Man.
But my favorite like NES game, which is what always comes to mind when people say, "What's your favorite classic game?" Which is a question that I get not very often, but boy, am I prepared for it.
Uh huh.
It's funny that I'm more prepared for that than what's your favorite food. But Balloon Fight, I love that game.
Mm.
I'm not great at it, but it's very fun.
Yeah. What's your... well, first, I want you to skip to the end of this Toad Sings thing so you can just hear, like, the finale real quick.
Okay, let me skip to, like, 3 minutes in.
Yeah, that should...
Oh, God, it's just screaming.
Yeah.
Like, it was immediately just a shrill screech.
That's what I'm talking about.
Halfway. Okay, there's a lot. There's a lot happening in my headphones right now. I think I get the gist. I think I'm gonna click out now.
This is the song.
I recently had ear surgery. I can't handle too much more of that.
I just remembered. Sorry about that.
It's all good. It's all good. It was on low volume.
This is what gets me into the Christmas spirit, though. This is what does it more than anything else. Working up through. So, what was the first like Nintendo console that you played on, or have you played a game on every Nintendo console? Pretty much, would you say?
Indirectly, yeah.
Okay.
But I've never like held an actual like Game and Watch.
Okay.
I've
or probably
played,
a Virtual Boy.
No, obviously none of that. I don't know if I've ever played a Virtual Boy game in any form, actually. So maybe not is the answer.
I wouldn't recommend it unless you just want to have migraines.
Yeah.
I could probably get an emulator for VR.
I have owned every Nintendo console that's come out since the DS and Wii.
Okay.
Which I say because I don't know for sure which one is first. I'm pretty sure it was the DS.
I was going to ask...
And I don't mean like every console. Like, I haven't had, like, the 2DS Lite or the DSi Pro or the Switch Lite. I've had, like, every main version.
Yeah. Makes sense.
It's like 2DS Lite isn't a thing, but you get the idea.
Yeah, right. And you've never had a Game Boy Micro because Lyndon owns every Game Boy Micro in existence. It seems like. At least that's his goal. He's just he pilfers them like the Hamburglar. Every time he sees one, he just puts it in his satchel. I was gonna ask like if you had like a favorite game from each Nintendo console.
Oh gosh, I'd have to think about that.
Or do you have a favorite Nintendo console?
Right
that
now.
Might be way easier. Do you have a favorite Nintendo console?
If I had a favorite console, it would be in terms of the library rather than the console itself.
Okay.
I feel like my answers are 3DS or GameCube.
GameCube is mine for sure. Like no contest.
GameCube has a super solid library.
Super solid library. It has, to my mind, the best controller of like any console.
Yes,
ever.
Easily. Like my favorite video game controller ever.
Yeah. I mean, I like the Wii controller, but it's nothing is even close to GameCube.
That silky smooth, it just so
cradles
good,
your hand. They were brave enough to do it. Every other console is like, no, it has to be symmetrical. It has to be like perfectly. It's like, no, it should feel nice to play.
That's more important.
Yeah, the ergonomics really get me.
It's interesting to me that the like Wii Remote and the Switch Joy-Cons and stuff, you're saying Nintendo is your favorite controllers?
Yeah, the Joy-Cons kind of
hate that about. Yeah, they do.
I like the Wii controllers though.
I got myself a Pro controller a while back, and that was just so much better.
Yeah, like.
But I guess with you playing in handheld, it won't matter too much.
Yeah, like that's actually well, first of all, if I had a TV, which I don't, that would have been a factor in me getting like a Switch instead of a Switch Lite. Also, when I got a Switch Lite, like you couldn't get a Switch anywhere, and I barely managed to get a Lite. So,
dude, I had to wild looking for mine.
Yeah, I talked about this months ago when Stargirl was on, but originally I like fully got scammed. And had to go to PayPal and get a refund. I mean, I can't be 100% sure that I actually got scammed, but it sure seemed like it was really dodgy.
I don't know this story, so I guess I must not have listened to that episode. So
I mean, it was a really old one,
later.
But the short version is that like basically the person that I was like trying to buy it from was like, yeah, PayPal is good. And then I sent the payment using like the goods and services, which is what you should always do if you're buying something from somebody online. You shouldn't ever like send it to them, friends and family, because you don't know them and there's no like protection for that. And then they were like, no, you should have sent it friends and family. And I was like, well, I'm not going to do that, and I've already sent it. And they're like, well then, I don't want it. I was like, cool, then refund it. And then I didn't hear back from them. They just disappeared off the face of the earth. So then I had to reach out to PayPal, and then once I got in a ticket like with them, and it was like, hey, they're gonna contact you and like possibly bring legal action. Then they like miraculously appeared and were like, I've refunded it. So
oh, cool. That's one way to do it.
Yeah. And then I ended up meeting a guy in a subdivision that was still being built, just out of the way, and it was very, very much like a drug deal. But I got my Switch.
Oh wow!
So
you got a Switch?
Yeah. Actually, it was way more sketchy than any drug deal I've ever taken. I've seen or heard of. Is what I might say. Here's let's see. Do I have? Yeah, I've got one more here. Or first of all, I've got some comments on this one.
Oh, important.
This one just says, I'm going to read it exactly as it's written. Rochelle says, oh, this is from 8 years ago. Rochelle says, there are plenty of Broadway sons that are awesome. But if I have to hear one more caroler telling me to give them some foggy pudding, then I may just have to choke a bitch.
Rochelle, you need a new keyboard.
This person, Hazen Elwood, which seems to be somebody's full name, but it is fully on the internet.
That's a real name.
I mean, I'm not doxing them. They have done that. They have done that themselves.
This is on you.
This one says, I really hate the new bullshit version they have of Jingle Bells. Now,
what version is that?
I assume that they mean Jingle Bell Rock, but let me just look up Jingle Bell Rock and see when that came out.
What?
Yeah, that's 1957?
Oh, you mean Jingle Bell Rock is the new version of Jingle Bells?
Yeah, 1957 that came out. That's the bullshit new version of Jingle Bells. It has to be.
Boycott.
There's no other version of Jingle Bells other than just the original Jingle Bells.
I'm like racking my
1957.
brain.
How old is Hazen Elwood?
8.
Oh my goodness.
I bet you can actually find that information.
You probably can.
Real name.
Here's another comment that says, I somehow find it hilarious that this is tagged pain and suffering, even though it is completely true. That comment is 4 years ago by Donald Trump.
Oh, probably the real guy.
What else was he doing 4 years ago? So here's one last
around on Will you press the button?
One last
apparently.
would you rather question. Before we wrap up, this one is
okay.
Would you rather? This was foreshadowed in the prophecy. Would you rather be 1 foot smaller than you are right now, or be 1 foot taller than you are right now? Also, I love the use of smaller and taller instead of shorter and taller. To me, that is like the cutest thing to say, like smaller and taller. But yeah, 1 foot. You lose a foot or you gain a foot.
I'm about 6 foot, which is not astronomically tall.
Okay, it's decent.
But 7 foot is astronomically tall.
That's much too high for me.
That's taller than I want to be.
Yeah.
But I also don't want to be 5 foot.
Yeah, I understand that.
I'm pretty comfy where I am.
Yeah, but seeing as you have to pick one.
How tall is Hinata? He's like 5'3". I've been watching Haikyuu a lot, so height
like
is a thing that I'm thinking about.
5'4", maybe. He's very small.
I'd probably go with taller because I feel like that's more interesting.
Okay.
But like life's hard at that point. Like you can't fit places that you used to fit.
Yeah. I'm 6'3", and life is already hard. A lot of like things are just made for shorter people.
Yeah.
Like if you're like 5'7", 5'8", like things are made for you. If you're 6'3", like
you say that, but like my mother can't reach the microwave in our house.
Well, maybe
it's
somebody
up too high
tall
for her.
Put it in there. Like, I mean, our microwave is very, very reachable for a medium height person. Maybe you just have a very, very high microwave. You have
That's
an
a possibility.
abnormally high microwave. Hey, get the ladder. I want to make a hot pocket.
Oh wow. No, they always just call me down to do it for them.
That's the thing. That's the hazard. Once you're tall,
Exactly.
you're always going to be at people's beck and call. Like
I will literally get called down from like my room where I work to the kitchen to say, "Can you get the powdered sugar down for me?" And I'm like, "We have a ladder that is right in the room with the powdered sugar in it.
Yeah.
Literally right there we have a step ladder."
Yeah. And the taller you are, the worse it is, because I mean,
Absolutely.
I'm not that much taller than you. I'm 6'3", and I'll be walking through a store, that I don't work at, and people will be like, "Hey, can you reach this down for me?" I mean,
I've never had that
less
happen
so
to me.
this year because but like
Of course.
generally, yeah, happens to me all the time, and it's obviously much worse when I have worked at stores, and I'll be trying to take a break or whatever, and I'm like speedily like powering through an aisle,
Power walking away.
like two other employees will walk by, nobody needs assistance. I walk by, suddenly the customer is like, "Oh, I got one. Can you reach this down for me?"
I found him.
Yeah. So I would choose
feel like
to be shorter.
I feel like being taller is just there's a sense of pride that comes with that.
Yeah. There's also a sense of severe and chronic back pain.
I mean, I have that already though.
So what do you have to lose?
So there's no downside anymore. Yeah, I'd probably go with taller just because I'm dumb.
I don't think it's
reasoning.
dumb. I always wanted to be shorter.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I would be very comfortable at 5'6", 5'7". So
I've
being 5'3"
never had
is
that thought.
not too. Yeah, I don't. I think it's because like I don't really like. I don't put a lot of stock into being tall. It's being tall has never really like been a significant advantage to me in life. I never really played sports, not to any like significant degree. And then like being tall has never been like the reason that like somebody's gone out with me, for instance.
Exactly.
Like it's not because I've been tall. It's usually because I'm funny or like kind. Have people tried being kind?
Beautiful.
I think
That's something to take up. Maybe consider.
being kind really helps in the no, it just really helps. We'll just leave it there. Just be
Just
kind
in general.
Yeah, so like I'd be also like I don't like being conspicuous. I would much rather just blend in.
That's also true.
So like being 7'3". Oh
The
my
thing
goodness.
is, I've started caring about that a lot less since I've been like not in middle school anymore and had not have to have the thought of walking through the hallways and like, gee, I hope nobody chooses to pick me out and start pointing and laughing at me.
Yeah.
Because when you're out of middle school, you don't get bullied nearly as often, and I'm not trying to say like it's not an issue that it doesn't exist. I can't talk normal words right now.
Middle school
It's
is
not- Yeah,
is the worst.
it's a rough place to be.
Yeah. Now, granted, as people will know from previous episodes and last week's episode, like I did not go to public or private school, so I was homeschooled K through 12. So aside from like
I
co-ops,
went to public school up until like 3 years ago, and then I went to a private school.
okay, so it's like
So I experienced the brunt,
you've experienced the worst
of
years to go to public
the
school.
worst of it. Yeah,
Yeah. But I have seen the movie 8th Grade, which I consider a horror film.
I haven't yet, but I love Bo
Oh.
Burnham.
So good. So good. Honestly, one of the best movies I've ever seen. So there's our, let's see. So you chose, are you settled with taller?
I think I am. I think
Okay.
I don't care enough about the inconveniences because I don't care about people like pointing and looking at me anymore.
Yeah.
That was definitely a thing. I would always be like dark clothes, hoodie up.
Yeah.
Like, I covered up. I had red hair. I have red hair. I don't know why I said that in the past tense.
but through hard work and motivation, you overcame it.
Yeah.
Lyndon, there's hope.
Oh, jeez. No, I would always cover it
Don't
up.
tell me you also used to be Irish.
That's part of why I got into hats. No, I just like them because flat bills are super cool and fashionable.
Yeah.
I think. Flat bills with cool designs on them are neat. But yeah, I would always cover up my hair because I feel like it was something that made me stand out. Now I don't care.
Yeah.
You can look at me. I'm not interesting. Nobody's looking at me because I'm not an interesting person to look at.
I think one of the things that one of the few benefits to being homeschooled, I would say there were a couple. I feel like there was a lot more emphasis on learning to teach myself things, like critical thinking,
Yes.
and reading a ton. So those were good things. There were a lot of downsides. I would say the maybe one of the biggest upsides is things like making fun of somebody for having red hair. I didn't even know about that. I didn't even. So if I saw somebody with red hair or anything like that, it was just oh, cool. It wasn't. I had no sense that was something that people made fun of, because obviously I wasn't in an environment where that was the case. I mean, when you grow up and the other students in your class are your siblings and they all look like you, and there's not really any variation there. It's just not a thing, Not to say my brother didn't beat the crap out of me.
Oh no!
Frequently.
Oh no!
Not to say I didn't punch him in the eye one time. With the sound of somebody slapping a raw steak down on the counter.
That just is what happens when you have siblings, though.
Yeah, but it wasn't, I did not have to go through, the horrors of middle school, so, or participate in them. And I feel like I grew up with a lot more,
Be thankful for that.
In some ways.
Because it sucked.
Yeah. That is what I've heard from literally every person who's ever been.
Middle school is the worst for that because everybody thinks they're better than you. By middle school, by high school, people are over themselves and whatever. I'm not going to bother picking on some kid because it's fun.
Yeah, I feel
But in middle school, there's so much of that.
I feel in middle school, people are, in actuality, how they are in movies in high school.
Yes.
In high school, it's the jock, the popular girl, they're
there's the
picking
hierarchy.
on there's a hierarchy.
Of
there's
the from Heathers or Be More Chill or whatever.
Right. But it's really like that in middle school because that's where people care about that, and that's also where people are just so impressionable. I mean,
yes, that's accurate.
That's why the worst YouTubers often end up marketing to that demographic because they're so easily influenced, which is the worst, and a rant for another day.
Yeah.
Let's see if there's any good comments here before we move on.
That's always a good sign when you immediately start laughing.
This one just says, it's just that it's in all caps. This one just says, let me lean way away from the microphone and just yell this because I think that's the only way it's going to do it justice. It says, please, when you are taller, it takes off of your life because your body needs more energy. It needs a stronger hearth, and your spine will have to support more weight and all that stuff. Yeah, even if I have 170 centimeters, I would a lot rather be 100 centimeters tall.
He would rather be 100 centimeters tall?
How tall is 100 centimeters? 100 cm,
not tall.
2 inches. 39 inches? Wait, that's a yard. That's a meter.
Right?
No, that's literally a meter. I am an idiot. I said, how long is 100 centimeters? And I didn't immediately go, it's a meter.
Yeah.
And then I converted it. Oh my, that's the most American thing I've done. I converted it to yards. Idiots. And then I went, oh yeah, that's about a meter.
Oh wait, that's exactly what a meter is. That's what the definition of centimeter is.
No. Oh, this
Your
can't
face
go
right
out.
now.
Oh, I'm deleting this entire episode. I'm
This
sorry.
episode is
one can't go
canceled.
out.
We have to record another one right now.
Oh, that's awful.
Oh, jeez. We're both American idiots. That's an album.
Sure is.
Anything else good on there? I'm sorry, when you started yelling the typos, it really got to me for some reason.
This one says, I want to be tall. Yeah, I know I am a tall, overly intelligent softie already, but fuck you! Oh, I just realized that I shouted that across the house. Well.
Uh-oh.
Well. Gonna have some interesting...
You can't just say something about yourself on the internet and expect people to believe it. Overly intelligent.
I just love that they describe themselves as a softie and then ended it that way.
Yeah, there's a lot to process there.
Oh boy. So yeah, there's that. There's
the answer to that question.
There's the ultimate answer to that, I guess. Right. Well, I guess we better wrap up here. This is, getting to be one of those longer episodes that I'm always claiming to be trying to avoid, and it never happens. I think this is just a longer show now than it used to be. I think that's just the case. I think this is going to slowly morph into like a 5-hour show.
If I get more Freeced content per week than I used to, that's an absolute win.
You know what I ought to do? I ought to start splitting these up into 2 episodes. That would be...
Two-parters?
Because if I'm recording almost 2 hours every week, and then I'm like, and then I'm making people listen to a 2-hour podcast, I should just start splitting these up. That's what.
You're not forcing anybody to listen.
Well, also I'm forcing my internet to try and
head.
upload a video that's that long, and that's the real tragedy. Yeah, and then I'm forcing YouTube to try and process that video.
Yeah.
Oy vey. Yeah. So, I guess that's gonna wrap this one up. This is coming out in the new year. So
it is. It will be.
Yeah. So I guess happy New Year, happy 2021 to everybody. Assuming we still have a planet by now.
Assuming the end of 2020 isn't the end of the world.
Right. Yes.
That would be a fitting conclusion.
Kind of a leap, but assuming that. Then we hope that y'all had a good New Year.
If this episode ever sees the light of day.
If this episode reaches you, I hope it finds you well. Let me hit y'all with a good vibe. And this is like,
Please do.
I feel like it should be like way more like momentous because it's like the first one of this year, and I'm like, don't screw it up. But like, I wasn't really thinking about it being the first episode of the year. So like, my good vibe is literally just that I have a new instrument and I'm stoked about it. Actually, let me grab it.
Yeah, I want to see it.
So this is it. It is
what it do.
This is a stylophone, which is a dope instrument. If you're not familiar, you don't know what a stylophone is. It is a synthesizer. So it's a small synthesizer with a built-in speaker. You use a stylus.
So it's literally stylus xylophone.
Yeah. You use
when you
a
got
stylus.
up, your camera got way grainy for some reason, and now I see you in like pixels.
Okay. I assume that's just my internet being choppy.
Discord, please.
But yeah, so it's like you it's like a piano keyboard the way it's laid out, and you tap on different parts, and you get those.
Oh, that's the one. As soon as you played that first note, the thing that came to mind was that's the instrument from that Vine of the dude playing "Jerk It Out."
Probably. I'm not sure if I know it.
Oh
yeah,
let's go.
Yeah, yes. That's it. It's the same one. So I've been doodling around with it a little bit, like a, just little biggie for y'all. So I'm hoping to like use this in a lot of my songs. So if you hear
that would be brilliant.
That specific synth sound, know that is not software. That is me doodling on my stylophone. because I'm having way too much fun with it already. Yeah. So my good vibe is like that I'm still learning new instruments and like picking up new gear and still improving and having fun with what I'm doing.
It's like what we were talking about earlier. Never stop getting better at what you do.
Exactly. There's
and don't stop trying new things as well.
Yeah, as Edna Mode says, I never look back, darling. It distracts from the now. Words of wisdom.
Truly.
Cola, where can people find you online?
I'm on YouTube primarily. I'm on youtube.com/c/ColaKong. Go there, subscribe to me, watch my things, please. I beg of you. It's all I have.
Watch ColaKong's McCree rap. It's got
Freest is there.
A dope feature on it.
He did it. It happened.
That is legitimately one of my favorite verses that I've ever done, and I love that beat so much. It was just a fun song to do. It was a very fun,
I'm
fun
glad you liked the beat because that's always something I worry about with collaborations. Is I hope I pick a good beat that this person can relate to.
I love that beat
because I don't make my own beats, so.
Yeah,
I'm not.
Well, that's what I worry about making a beat
versed in
and then sending it to somebody, being like, "Oh, I hope." Because when you make the beat and you send it to somebody and they don't like it, then it's like, "Oh no, they don't like me." Like
now it's my fault.
It feels like. At least it does when you are like me and you take everything personally, even when you shouldn't. So YouTube, Twitter. You need more Twitter followers. That's
I
fact.
am. I've been trying to get more active on there ever since I started doing Nerdcore. So yeah, I'm on Twitter. I'm on. That's really it.
Is it just at ColaKong on Twitter?
Yeah, it's just ColaKong. Nothing fancy.
That's
there,
Cola like Coca-Cola and Kong
good.
like King Kong.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, or like Donkey Kong probably.
Yeah, I don't have an interesting story about my name. It's just Coca-Cola Donkey Kong.
Coca-Cola Donkey Kong. It seems like a I don't know, like a part of like a children's nursery rhyme. I don't know what it would be. It's like Coca-Cola Donkey Kong. So Twitter, YouTube, anywhere else?
Add me on Discord. I'm gonna get on Spotify eventually, man. But
yeah,
after I become good.
It's the dream.
Eventually.
Yeah.
Someday.
Well, let me know if you want advice for distributors, because I've got a fair amount of experience.
This episode's going to be on Spotify, isn't it? So this is my first content I think that's ever going to be on Spotify.
There you go. And now when people look up ColaKong on Spotify, it'll come up with this podcast episode.
There will be a thing.
And then they'll hear you saying that your music isn't on Spotify yet, unless it's in the future and your music is on Spotify, and then they'll go.
If you're watching this in the future,
well,
tell us in the
have
comments
to say
how dope flying cars are.
Whoever is listening to this will be listening in the future. That is inevitable.
I guess so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But also, well, no, actually, that's not inevitable because we just said there might not be a future. So could go either way. I stand corrected.
Always open to the possibilities.
Cola's links will be in the description of this episode, as always. You can find me on Twitter at @MeFreest, on Instagram at FreestRaps, newly on TikTok at Freest.
Ooh.
On twitch.tv/Freest with 6 E's in the middle. It's FREEEEECED, rolls right off the tongue. Where else? Join my Discord server. I think I might have forgotten to say that last week. But
join my Discord server. I forgot to mention that too.
And join Cola's Discord server as well.
More active.
And say hello to Cola in my Discord server. And you know what? Just join everyone's Discord server. Have a day.
Join other cool people's servers. If you like somebody's music, chances are they have a server.
Yeah, and that is like the best way to talk to. Maybe not always to talk to like the artists themselves. But definitely to talk to other people who are like-minded and make friends. And often, like a lot of collaborations start between people who are like mutually fans of the same person.
Fans of the same people.
And are also artists. And but in my server you can talk to me. I'm in there all the time. And it's good vibes, and really enjoy hanging out with everybody there. So check out all the links in the description. Subscribe to, if you're listening on YouTube, subscribe to this channel, Fneast. That's F2CED.
Fneast.
Check out my main channel, Freest. That's where I do all my raps and whatnot. Well, no, that's just where I do all my raps and songs. And here, this channel is where I do all my whatnot. Reactions, episodes of the Breakfreeced Club. Who knows what I got coming out this year? Probably a lot of cool stuff. So don't miss it. I think that's a good
Subscribe to
spiel.
Freest. He's criminally underrated.
Well, I think you'll find that Shwabadi is criminally underrated.
Yeah, but that's a song he made, so it doesn't count as much. I guess.
Yeah.
Speaking of Shwabadi, as we close this episode, I want to do what he does in his reactions.
Okay.
Where he's like, if you've made it this far in the video, comment down below. Whatever.
Yeah.
What should we tell people to comment? I want it to be something totally unrelated to the episode, so people who haven't made it this far are totally confused.
Okay, here's what it should be. Here's the formula for these things. It needs to be something that is related to the episode that you'll only understand if you get far enough in the episode. So without providing any further context, just comment either the word either just say taller or shorter.
Just pick one.
Just pick one of those words with no other context, and just say taller or shorter.
Actually, no. Tell us your answer to the question in the comments.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Tell us which one you would prefer being.
Yes. That's what I'm saying.
Don't just pick a random
one. Don't pick it at random. Don't pick it at random. Say answer the question. Would you be 1 foot taller or 1 foot shorter, but with no additional context? Just either say
nothing else in the comment.
Yeah, just say taller or shorter. Yeah. There you go. ColaKong, thank you so much for coming on the show. It's been a delight
you for having me
on.
It sure has been. I've had a lot of fun.
And y'all, be sure to subscribe to ColaKong. This is a threat. Until I've been Freest. This has been the Breakfreeced Club. Take care.
All right, I will stop recording now.
You can do a sign off too.
Oh, I have to sign off?
No, normally.
Bye. Cut off the part where I said I'll stop recording now because that's embarrassing.
Absolutely, I won't.
Subscribe. Subscribe to Freest.